Fighting games are great, but are you having fun? Some people play their game and say, this game sucks, but still continue to play it. Sure, it could be an exaggeration, but what's stopping you from playing the game that you really want to play? I'm talking about the game that you love so much, but no one else plays it. Is it perhaps because there's nobody to play it with? Maybe it's pointless to play a game that no other person would care about. If that's what's on your mind,
I wanna play Jackie Chan!
then that's where you're wrong.
Found you.
There are people out there always waiting for someone else to play that very game that you enjoy the most. And if it's the fear of feeling like you have no match against the people who dedicated their lives into learning your favorite game, all the people are there who will give you all the knowledge that you need, skipping you through part of the struggles they had to experience themselves.
Getting better.
But most importantly, you will get to experience the feeling that there is now a close, collective group who share the same passion as you. The only thing that's missing is you!
Keep me online offline!
Once you take that difficult first step forward, you'll experience a new sensation of fun in the world of poverty games! Getting into poverty games is much easier than it ever was before. Back then, there was a lot of things you gotta do. But now, everyone who wanted more people to play with knew that they don't want other people to go through the annoying methods in the past. They'll do anything to get everyone to play. That's why it's called poverty. That's why you heard legends of people setting up Melty blood in the bathroom. Seriously, if people can't afford a venue, they'll be down to do a tournament out in the streets. That's how passionate poverty players are. Even I ended up in a bathroom situation.
There's the barbershop.
And then there's
You're
the
hosting
barbershop.
this might be the first tournament of barbershop.
Right? This might be the first tournament where the commentators had to sit in the bathroom.
But now, we're in the modern day. Playing your favorite game with others can be done in a few easy steps. Want to play KOF? Just download Fightcade. Grab the FC2 Jason pack and everything will be set up for you. Any arcade game all the way up to the Sega Naomi or Dreamcast era can be played online here with rollback netcode. But I want to play Melty. Easy! Just go to play.melty.club and everything will be set up for you. Isn't there an official Steam version? Yes! Buy that to support the devs because they're super cool. But get the community version because it's a community who knows how to make good net play. If you're struggling to think what type of poverty game you want to play, you can start with what your interests are in general. You like VTubers? Go get Idol Showdown on Steam.
Idol Showdown is my jam.
You like math? Play as Chiruno in Touhou Hisoutensoku, but make sure to go through the netplay guide to get good netplay easily.
I didn't know any of the other fighting games, but Soku, I was like already involved in their community, and I really wanted to check it out here.
You like MS Paint aesthetics? Go get Ultra Fight the Kyanta 2 on Steam!
It's free to play. It's free to play. It's on Steam. You don't even need money. I guess you need a computer, but nonetheless, runs on most toasters. You know, the MS Paint characters and the funny sound. I feel like you find like a very deep game. Flashpoint isn't as amazing, like a knockoff FRC.
You like Osaka from Azumanga Daioh? Of course! Get Azumanga Daioh Puzzle Bobble on Fightcade. But are there even tournaments for these games? Yes! Yes, there is! It doesn't even have to be a fighting game, but the FGC embraces a lot of these games just like fighting games. Even sports games like Super Dodgeball and Neo Turf Masters, like it's golf! Golf for the FGC! Nowadays, it's easy to record tournaments. So many people upload tournament footages on YouTube. Simply search up your game's name and then type tournament. You'll see all the tournaments held for your game, and you'll know when you can enter the next one, whether it's online or offline. It's that easy. And if you want to just get in some casuals with people, you can easily find their Discord server listed everywhere. Whether it's Fightcade lobbies, video descriptions, or wikis, everything has been made accessible for everyone. Just don't be a jerk or a sore loser, and everyone is down to get some great matches with you, and maybe even help you out. In fact, some of these people can be the ones who will lead you to victory. There was a game that I was interested in trying to learn that had a side tournament at EVO, and it was Super Dragon Ball Z. I decided to respectfully ask their tournament organizer, gpbear, for help.
Super Dragon Ball Z, it's a great game. And I'm so glad it's back here at Evo again because super underrated. You don't really hear anybody talk about it. The only reason I found out about it is because gpbear, the tournament organizer, he always tells people about it and invites them to his Discord server. I wouldn't be surprised if half the people here were from the Discord server and just decided to try it out just to support him.
And just like that, he helped me learn the game during the week of Evo. And thanks to him, a newcomer like me was surprisingly able to reach top 8 in their tournament. Don't be afraid to ask for help. These smaller communities are happy to show you how great their games are, and they'll get you to a point where you can enjoy fighting others at a faster rate. Their fighting spirit is always going to be alive, and that is why these smaller fighting games are still just as important as the mainline games in big events. Evo is always cemented as the grandest event for fighting games, and it continues to stay that way because it's a tournament where all the strongest players from all over the world come together to give it their all. It's the tournament. We've now come to an age where iconic moments from Evo have become mainstream, like Moment 37. As years pass, we continue to get a lot of memorable moments showcased by Evo. But what if I told you that there are even more memorable moments at Evo, but from tournaments ran by their own individual games communities? While everyone's eyes focus on the main games, there are so many unsung heroes of Evo every year. In fact, in 2022, there are over 60 of these champions, and they all come from the side tournaments.
Project Justice champion for Evo 2023, return champion from 2022. Well, Project Justice, been playing it for 20 some odd years, back in like 2001. My local arcade in New Orleans, and just fell in love with the game. It's got the big names, but somebody's gonna be out there playing some side game, something that you've never seen in like 20 or some odd years. Wherever there's a game, there's a community for it, and it's important to just have those events there. I run tournaments. It's more my way of giving back to the community. I have the ability to run it. I have like the setups that, might as well give back in my own way.
If you look at any top player right now, most if not all of them came from these games that can now be considered side games or tournaments, and that's just because as the natural progression goes, you're always going to have a game that turns into a side game. Street Fighter V was a side game at Evo. You could say anyone there. I think Lizardman got the grand final. Lizardman played a side game, but he technically started out as a main game player. Punk played Street Fighter 4. Smug plays Street Fighter 4 in tournament. That's a side game. Most of these people come from side games. Like, a game never really dies unless someone stops playing it, and that's impossible because there's always going to be someone playing that game, and there's probably some weird tech that gets found or some new combos, and it's like, this game's still pretty cool. You get these people involved and they want to see it more. A lot of people are going to abandon games for the next big thing, and that's normal, but you can always try to keep some heart into the game so when someone comes back, it's like they never left.
But we still gotta remember, Evo Moment 37 came from a game that you usually see at side tournaments, but that game was originally a main lineup game at Evo. And even though some of these games may get pushed to being just a side tournament, the support for these games are something so strong that they can occasionally come back to the main lineup, like Third Strike and Marvel 3. But why do players still invest a lot of times into these games that will just move back into a side tournament, even though they don't get much of the glory that the main lineup gets?
When I started getting into fighting games for the first time, I was not interested in a lot of the mainstream games that were out there, but Tatsunoko vs. Capcom really captivated me with its art style and gameplay, just kind of being this over-the-top representation of characters that I wasn't familiar with, but I thought looked very cool. And like, I've been watching them every year. Like, I started just watching them on YouTube, and like, I'm super happy to have them at other events and also here. And like, to me, like, it's important that continues, because like, the reason I'm here is because I decided that what I saw was cool and I wanted to be here, and now I'm a part of that.
I kind of retracted myself from the FGC. I was just a Dragon Ball FighterZ player. In my state, I wasn't the best, so I just kind of stopped playing it a lot. But then I found Fight of Animals. I just thought it was a fun game, and I picked it up and I said, this is going to be a game I'm going to get really good at, and I'm going to make a community. Even if there is a community, I'm going to join it found Quarantine Report 2. That was the first tournament I ever played at. It was so fun. It was my first time really feeling good about a tournament. Not even like the tournament experience, but like the feeling like I did really what I set out to do, which was make some waves. And I kind of wanted to give back to that community what it gave me, which was some hope and some comfort. So when I got approached by Shib to do the community tournament for Fight of Animals in 2022, it was kind of a no-brainer.
英語でいろんな自分の作ったゲームを遊んでもらうっていうのは、まあ時間発電みたいなね、こういうなんつうのきっかけがあって、それで自分のゲームの盛り上げてくれるような活動になるっていうのは、やっぱりね、このイベントっていうのは素晴らしいものだと思うんですよ。それにね、また集まってくれるっていうのもすごくありがたいし、エボだから来たいって人もいっぱいいると思うんですよ。だからそうだね、みんなもだから、ゲームを作って、それなりのクオリティのものができたら、エボで自分の作ったゲームとかを出してみて、みんな遊んでもらう、それなりのね、運営とか、パーソナリティがあるかもしれないけども、やっぱりこういう場所でやるからいいんだっていうものを、なんか見つけられるといいかもしれないですね。
It's undeniable that EVO continues to grow. What it was 10 years ago is not what it is today. Some people may not like the non-grassroots direction it's heading, but a rapidly growing event also means that more people from around the world will come to visit. To many people, this is their one chance to travel a far distance and play as many players as possible. This is why we shouldn't just put side tournaments in the back burner, because to some of these players, they would travel thousands of miles to meet the players in person that play their favorite obscure title.
It is the biggest tournament. Has been the biggest tournament. It's the only time we like really get overseas players, and I feel like the community, if you count that, is all over the place. We got a lot of European players. There's the Japanese community. I'd definitely like to see them just like come out, and then we can have like a world versus kind of tournament eventually, hopefully.
This is alive. This is alive as well. In EVO, we were at 64. We were at 64 entrants, capped on the hour of closing of the tournament. And like everyone came here, there was like international competition here, Japan versus USA. Japan window, we'll forget it next time. So I think the reason why the side tournaments are important is because like, as much as we love the main 8, we have to represent all types of fighting games as well, and not just like the main 8 again. But we also have to have the side games to represent as well, and to know that we're not only enjoying those 8, as much as people love them, as much as people love them, we also appreciate the little niche games that we all play with over the years and of now. So I think if you're in that community of have that weird, niche game that you always wanted, please bring it here, make it stay alive. It's all up to you guys.
日本でもこのゲームが流行っている場所はすごく狭くて、奇跡的にたまたまモヤオジャスティス学園が好きなプレイヤーがそこに集まっているっていう感じです。
You never know who's going to be there. We've got like Loki, Mexican player. Nobody even knew he showed up until like last year. You've got people from around the world that'll play. It's just worth it to really have those events for those people that work hard and put in work in games that have no more support these days,
In the end, these side tournaments still provide the thrills and challenges that players would experience with the mainline tournaments. Though less people will witness their victories, the focus of these smaller games is to have people to play with and spend time with. So just having these events is already a celebration for everyone. It gives people a chance to share their favorite game with newcomers and finally befriend the person IRL that they've been butting heads with hundreds of times online.
For people who look at the mainstream titles, they're going to have a very well-served setup. They're going to have everything set up for them well-served, but the people here who make side events happen, they are self-sufficient and willing to sacrifice to bring a game that they love so that the community can come together and have that moment, right? And you see this all the time, and you see it every day out here in a place like this. And the thing about that is when you do that, it creates a person in the community. When you're one of those guys who's hauling monitors, hauling consoles, bringing a lot of stuff to TSA, bringing it here, setting it up, people like that are the people who sustain events like this, You think about like those kinds of people are the ones who do the setup, who run the brackets, who run the streams, you know, we can raise people out of the mainstream for sure. But in niche communities like this, we make talent. We make talent from nothing, just because they want to play their game. So that to me is like why it's a thing.
I think at some point when you're seeing the community built around the games, it becomes way larger of an impact in the game itself. Because obviously we all love the game, that's why we play it and everything. But I think a lot of us have stayed with the community, especially with Rivals, for so long, is because we can see everything around us being built by the people that we talk to and play the game with every day. Everything that we do, all our events, everything people help in our community get running, for funding for, just getting everything together. And I think once you see that, it really just makes it a very awesome place to want to coexist in, because it feels like you're always a part of something bigger and you're always pushing towards something else.
But what if your game never shows up? You've been waiting and waiting, and it just never seems to happen. Your game never gets a tournament. Maybe it's your turn to start something. Or encourage someone you know that loves your game much as you do. And it doesn't have to be anything big. As long as you can provide space for like-minded players to gather and enjoy your game, then you're doing the community a huge favor. It doesn't even have to be a tournament. Some events can give you space and a time slot to do casuals for your game, only if you just ask. Just give it a shot, and you'll be surprised who you may end up meeting. I remember when a Project Justice tournament first appeared in EVO many years ago. That was where I had a new purpose to start going to EVO again, after not showing up for many years. Just knowing Project Justice was there gave me so much reason to come back once again, and I kept wishing to come back. I thought that maybe if Project Justice shows up again, there is a chance that the person who always beat me in the arcades during my childhood will be there, so I can get a rematch with my current skill level. And I didn't just want to compete there, I wanted to win with the bottom tier character, Chairperson.
And then everybody comes in, we gotta explain he's not that good, we just repeat the cycle of life, and the Chairperson gets a damn party.
However, years passed, and Project Justice never showed up again. Eventually, I didn't want to wait any longer, and I decided that I'll defeat a strong Project Justice player, so I can ask them to run the tournament with me. And just like that, I lost the match. But I didn't give up, and asked anyway. And with that, Project Justice has appeared in EVO for multiple years, with new players showing up all the time. It's a really great feeling because we know that this game will always be alive in our hearts. Years later, when I couldn't go to EVO, they still continue the tournament for Project Justice. I know people love this game just as much as I do, and all it took was just to throw another tournament.
We actually weren't even supposed to have a tournament. Called one of my homies that said, hey, we've got extra he's got extra setups, we got that. Chair decided to stream it. I ran the bracket. I just want to have this for this community.
Though I was never able to find my self-proclaimed rival from my childhood, I was surprisingly able to bring this bottom tier character to grand finals at EVO. And just like that as well, I feel accomplished too. And then I proceeded to get O2'd at EVO Japan. They're quite something else, but I guess I can add that to my list of goals. Each player has their own individual goal. How about you? What's yours? It can be as big as becoming one of the strongest players at the game, or it can be as small as making a friend that you can just play the game with. Maybe you've always wanted to do commentary, but can't get quite passionate for the modern fighting games compared to your favorite obscure title. There's a chance that these communities need you. All you gotta do is take the initiative. But even if your goal is just to play, your presence alone can give people the drive to want to keep playing. I know that the presence of my friends was enough to help me get to one of my goals.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in my teenage years, I knew that me and the fighting game crew that I was in would have to leave each other after graduation, as each of us have their own career path to pursue in other lands. However, I never wanted to forget all the fun times we had getting O2'd in fighting game tournaments. So we made a promise with each other before we all parted ways. We promised that we'd all go to EVO, and that I'll make a game about us, where it'll all culminate with the characters going to EVO. When EVO got cancelled during the peak COVID years, not just offline, but also online, we were panicking because we thought that would have been it. Our dream could have been dead. But that gave us the chance to look at the side tournaments. which wasn't cancelled because Anime Evo, aka what Vortex Gallery used to be called, was still going to happen. And after we chose Fight of Animals as the game we should try instead, we knew that despite it looking like a meme, we had more fun.
Oh my god, let's go!
This is way fun.
We're spoiling the game.
As time went on, Fight of Animals made an offline appearance at EVO. Not only was it great that I finally got to meet all the cool people involved in this game, but I was able to meet my high school friend in Grand Finals. I was able to complete the intention of the games we were making before we could even finish making the series!
We were spoiling our own game.
Fight of Animals was such a small game with a small community, so not many people were watching the tournament. But to me, that moment where I can fight my friend at Grand Finals was one of the most important moments in my life. It didn't matter that it was a small side tournament at EVO. It still felt like I fulfilled what I wanted. And none of this would have happened if it wasn't for the community putting the effort to bring people together and make a tournament happen. It's all because a bunch of players believed in this game. They provided a place for players to gather and have fun and make memories together. This is what community side tournaments for poverty games are. Dedication and fun. What's a game if you can't have fun? Play what you want and be happy.